I really have an honor and a pleasure here to present an award. Russ said we won an award for an unsung hero because there are many here. There are many among you. What is an unsung hero? Well, I looked up the definition and it said it's a person who goes above and beyond the call of duty, special people who do extra special things for their fellow man, those in need and those unable to do things for themselves. With respect to community involvement and betterment, someone who does their work without pay and without the expectation of receiving praise or recognition. That's an unsung hero who doesn't go into it expecting to get praise or recognition. And Paula Lawton Bevington really fills that model. I'll tell you a little something about her. She went to school, Notre Dame and Yale Law School, not too shabby. She was a Fulbright scholar and became the first woman associate hired by a law firm here, Sutherland, Aspel, and Brennan in Atlanta. Jane Thorpe, the chairman of our board at the task force, and who is a lawyer in her own right and was a managing partner of Alston and Bird, a big law firm, said about Paula, there's a great joy about her. And unfortunately, Jane said, not many lawyers turn out that way. She also worked briefly on the Peace Corps staff in Washington before her Fulbright year and took what she called a hiatus to rear her family. You may think it's a little family because a hiatus is a little thing, but in characteristic understatement, Paula explained what she meant by a hiatus to rear children. She explained that when she married, her husband Milton was a widower and he already had 3 sons, 10, 11, and 12. She said, so we already had an instant family. But 4 more sons and a daughter just came along soon after that. She said, one of my stepsons died in 2003, but there are now a dozen grandchildren. The children of the older boys are adults themselves, while the newest of my biological children's progeny arrived just 6 weeks ago. Paula was a co-owner with her husband here in Atlanta of Servidyne Incorporated and Servidyne Systems. They were energy engineering firms going green before their time. And under their leadership, Servidyne won the Energy Star Partner Award from the EPA and Department of Energy in 3 successive years for qualifying more office buildings for Energy Star awards than any other organization in the country. During 2003, Paula was Vice President for Development at SciTrek, then Atlanta Science and Technology Museum. From January 2004 till December 2007, she was Director of Development at the Marcus Institute, now the Marcus Autism Center, an organization that provides multidisciplinary care to children with developmental disabilities. And perhaps more than anything else, Paula is a fundraiser par excellence, and she's been an active volunteer in the nonprofit sectors in areas ranging from health to legal services, children's issues, the arts, business, education, international affairs, and human rights. She has served as president or chairman of numerous nonprofit organizations. I asked her how she finds time to do so much for so many different people and organizations, and she told me, I moved 14 months ago and I still have boxes that I haven't unpacked. I just choose what's interesting and has learning possibilities. It's very gratifying to a layperson to get a glimpse into how the medical world is organized and works. There's so many things going on in this world, and that it's impossible to know it all. But to have more open up, to be able to understand the world a little better. That, she said, is exciting. Paula presents herself as someone who is, in fact, very much interested in the world and what goes to make it go around. She's funny, she's a stickler for clarity and grammatical correctness in communications, and she works to make the world a little better organized and to make the world just plain better than when she found it. And she does all this with incredible modesty and directness. Bill Fagey, another hero of mine and many of us here, has said that the purpose of a life is a life with purpose. The purpose of a life is a life with purpose. And Paula is in fact living this life, helping so many in so many ways for so long. I could think of no one more deserving of this Unsung Hero Award than Paula Bevington.
Even if unsung, one can sing. I'm part of the chorus, along with many, many others who applaud, who cheer, and maybe even yodel a bit to demonstrate their support of the Health Connect South Day. All of us are very grateful to Russ Lapari, or Lapari, you say tomato, I say tomato, and to all those who have stepped forward to make today possible. I am personally grateful for this recognition and accept it on behalf of the many like me whose roles were small but count in the aggregate. Until about 10 days ago, I thought that I would have 5 minutes for a mini presentation. Russ has said that I still may have those 5 minutes, so here goes in maybe less than 5. I want to tell you about HELP. HELP, capital H, lowercase e, capital L, capital P, an acronym for the Health Law Partnership, is a collaboration, hear that word again, among Atlanta Legal Aid, my home away from home, Georgia State College of Law, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, Morehouse Medical School, and Emory Medical School. In the mid-90s, medical legal partnerships began to spring up all over the country. There are at least 262 medical legal organizations in the U.S. today. Atlanta Legal Aid, which has long had a focus on healthcare law, and its partners, formed HELP in 2004. The purpose, to bring the expertise of the legal and medical communities together to deliver better health care to low-income children. Poverty is a petri dish for health problems. Substandard housing, kitchens bereft of nutritious food, utilities cut off when bills go unpaid. Poverty attacks good health from many angles. Poor people suffer the same health problems that everyone else does, plus a lot more that derive from their poverty. HELP topples the legal barriers that poverty raises, provoking healthcare issues. The stories are many. Sometimes they're dramatic, like the case of an infant who needed a heart transplant. The transplant team was convinced that they couldn't perform the transplant because the baby's mother's impairments made her unable to provide aftercare. A legal aid lawyer discovered that the grandmother could and would provide suitable care for the infant. Despite time pressure, the lawyer was able to obtain consent from the mother and from the father, who was incarcerated, then locate a judge to sign the order. The transplant was successful, and the baby's life was saved. This is hard to believe, but the surgery took place on Valentine's Day. Most of the stories are less cinematic. For example, many children in poverty have asthma. A HELP doctor told me about children who are treated for asthma and returned for checkups showing no improvement. The doctor may suspect parental noncompliance with the administration of medications. The real reason turns out to be mold infestation at home. More than once, a call from a help lawyer to the landlord works magic. That landlord who swears he meant to remediate the situation and just didn't get around to it, does get around to it. Atlanta legal aid lawyers are on site at Children's 3 locations, Eggleston, Scottish Rite, and Hughes Spalding at Grady. They have earned the respect and the trust of the doctors. Medical and law students get to know one another and work together through HELP. HELP has an advocacy component that has changed counterproductive regulations. HELP provides community education, especially important with populations whose formal schooling may be limited. My time is up. Actually, not quite, but I won't go on. I'd be glad to send anyone who wishes a 3-page summary of HELP's first decade. Just give me your email address. And thank you again.
Please welcome back to the stage, Russ LaPerry.
Thank you, Paula. We are honored to present you this award, and thank you for your example. In so many ways, you have been an inspiration to so many people in this community for such a long time, and this award is long overdue. Thank you, Paula. Please join me. Paula Lawton, Bevington.